Good morning, Facebook. Christopher Hart here from Transforming Lives Coaching and Consulting, coming to you from slightly foggy Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So we missed a video yesterday. I do apologize. I had an early morning that took me through the entire day. So coming back at you to continue our Lead Strong series on how to build strong leaders in our businesses, our organizations, and even in our lives. So Sunday we did kind of a special message that I felt was just laid on my heart, and so I just wanted to bring that to you guys. But prior to that, good morning, Brad. Good to see you, buddy. Prior to that, we were talking about how do we assess people for our organization. And I did a video previously on the right hire and some elements that we assess against that's mostly for the job. Now, I believe that there's something more to the hiring process than just determining if they're the right fit for the job. And so today's video is actually titled 3 Key Elements to Determining the Right Hire. One of the things that I frequently get asked from people that I coach and consult is, how do you know if someone's the right hire, both in the hiring process as well as once they're already hired into our organization? And so what we previously talked about is you have to have elements to assess against. I did a video, I think a couple days ago, that talked about that right hire and some of the elements you use in the hiring process. And so if you haven't watched that video, I'd go back and definitely watch that one. But this is kind of taking it to the next level today. And so let's talk about those 3 key elements. Those 3 key elements are determining a match for the role that they're going to be participating in on a daily, consistent basis. The next is your organization, and the third is a match for the leader. Okay, so we talked about a match for the role. We use elements of experience, personality assessments, behavioral assessments, looking at certain elements of their resume to determine, are they a right fit on the aptitude basis to actually do the role? Do they have what it takes to be successful in the role? And what we do is we predetermine what those elements are in order to assess against. That way we use our red light, green light process to dictate and determine, do we continue to move forward in our hiring process? And then ultimately, does our hiring process culminate in a matter in which we have absolute certainty that they're a match for the role? Now, here's the thing. Match for the role is great. Someone can show up to your organization, they can do the job, they can even do the job at a high level. But have you ever hired someone or even been in an organization where you just look at someone and they go, that one just doesn't fit in? They're not like everyone else. And this is not a matter of judgment of who they are, as far as, race, color, creed, national origin, sex, familial status, any of that nature. It's just who they are just at their core. You see, I believe every business should have a personality, morals, values, ethics. Right? There's some things in business that they say are good components to a successful business, and that's what's called an MVBP, a mission statement. Good morning, Eric. What's up, buddy? A mission statement, a vision statement, identifying your values as an organization, your beliefs, and your perspective of your organization within your industry or your marketplace. And so when that is established within your organization, that becomes your organization. That's who you are. That's your personality. What do you value as a business? And so when we look at the matches, a match to the role, a match to the organization, and a match to the leadership, when we match to the organization, that's what we're assessing against. And when you're in the hiring process, and even in the process by which people currently exist in your organization, as a leader, you're always looking for those elements to see if they show up at the person's core. Right? In the hiring process, people can BS you. Yeah, they can tell you, yeah, I value this. Yeah, I value that. And, I think as leaders, we just have to be intuitive to see how that plays itself out. We ask further questions to dig in, like give me some experiences and examples of when that might have showed up in your life. So we have a way that we can dig, but it's never fail safe. I believe what actually shows us true reality is how people act on the day-to-day basis in our organizations. Like when they show up, when it's rainy days, when life is being thrown at them, when, they're not hitting results, like how do they act and react to stimuli that does not meet their expectations in the professional atmosphere and environment, as well as their personal environments? That'll tell you who someone is at their core, and that's what you're assessing against. See, if you value honesty and you value integrity and hard work and determination and whatever other elements that you value within your organization that makes up your organization's culture, and people start to act outside of that, I'll tell you right now, you don't have a match. Okay? They may be able to do the job really well, and I think where a lot of leaders fail, or where they fall short in leadership, is they start to accept people's core of who they are, even though it doesn't match their organization's culture and their values and their beliefs, perspective, mission, vision, whatever, because someone can do the job at a high level. And what you're doing is you're compromising your culture for someone's ability to make you money. We call that greed. Okay? Greed's never a good thing. Now, I'm not going to be the one to sit here and say, money's bad. I think money's good. Money's neither good nor bad. It just is what it is. It's what you do with money. Once you have money, what do you do with it? So you can never compromise who you are as a leader, what your organization believes, because someone can do the job at a high level. The second you do that, I can promise you one thing: you will destroy your organization. And even more so, if your organization has the ability to stay together, what you'll do is you'll damage your reputation as a leader. You can't post on the wall or preach that you value certain things, and then the rest of the people in your organization look around and they go, wait a second, why does that guy operate outside these values that we're supposed to be believing in, and it's posted on the wall and we talk about it at our sales meetings, and why does the leader allow that to happen? See, now all of a sudden they start looking at you in a different light. So Eric said, is there a way to find my own MVBP and see if it aligns with my organization? Eric, what I would tell you is that's some time that you need to spend with yourself and developing what is your vision for your business, and how do you carry that out in a mission? What do you value in business? What are your beliefs and what are your perspectives? And so, that's a whole class in of itself. That's not a 15, 20-minute video. If you need help with that, feel free to hit me up offline. But I believe every business has to have that. And if you don't have it, you're missing one of the critical elements to evaluate people off of. And I believe that's where businesses put themselves at risk, because they're only evaluating off the person's aptitude to do the job. I've known businesses, and I've even experienced them myself, where someone had the aptitude to do the job, but morally, ethically, they were just not a match to the organization that I created or other people's organization, and it becomes very detrimental to the future of that organization. So keep that in mind. The third one is match to leadership. So what does that look like? Have you ever hired someone and then, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months later, you're like, this person drives me absolutely bonkers. Every time they walk into my office or they walk by me, I want to just get up and leave, or I want to walk in the opposite direction. See, if you hired that person as a leader, what you've now recognized is you do not have a match to your leadership. Now, here's the thing. Our organization has, or some organizations have, subordinate leaders. It could be a match to the subordinate leader. When we talk about a match to the leader, it's the leader that has to lead them. Who's the one that's going to be holding them accountable? Who's the one that's going to be pouring into them at a high level? Who's the one that's going to be loving on them? Who's the one that's going to hug them as a leader when their life's falling apart, but they still chose to come to work? That's the match to the leader that we're talking about. See, as the organizational leader, if you have a subordinate leader that has someone that you have a difficult time tolerating, yeah, I guess you can make a a case for that person not being a match for leadership. But it's really a matter of the person who is the direct leader, supervisor, manager, whatever you want to call it these days, to that individual. Here's why. Because if there's anything other than love, right, just complete love for that person and desire for them to succeed and achieve at a high level, if there's anything other than that, then you shouldn't be in business together. Because you cannot give that person your absolute best. You see, leadership is about being the vehicle, caring enough about other people to be the vehicle to their success. The second you stop caring, the second you lose any ounce of care for that individual, do them a favor and let them go. Not because they're not good people, not because anything other than that your heart is not 100% bought into loving this person at a really high level. Now, here's the thing about that. Are there things that are going to bother you about people? Absolutely. We're aired, right? Like I've talked about this before. No human is perfect. Stop evaluating people against perfection. Stop evaluating yourself against perfection. You'll lose. You can't win. We're not born to be perfect. Jesus Christ was the only one to ever walk this earth to be perfect. The second you try and be perfect, what you're saying is thousands of years of historical religious history needs to be rewritten for you. And I don't think that to be the case, or anybody else for that matter. So stop holding people accountable to perfection. Stop holding yourself accountable to perfection. People are going to mess up. That's what great leaders do. We discipline our disappointment. We've talked about that before. But if it's one of those things it's just who they are at their core that you can't tolerate, it doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them a non-match for your leadership. They may be a great match for someone else's leadership. Shoot, you may have hired someone that was a non-match for someone else's leadership and is a great match for your leadership. But I believe these three elements of match can really help leaders grow an organization that can be extremely valuable in its marketplace, industry, and to your future and their future. Because if you can hire people that are a really great aptitude match for the role, then they can succeed. If they're a match for the organization, then you actually have the concept of team, where the acronym is together everyone achieves more. The second you have anyone operating outside of the MVBP or what your mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspective is, you no longer have a team because you don't have togetherness. You don't have everyone. You just have a group. People operating independently. Okay? So aptitude match for the role, match for the organization, and match for the leadership, because as the leader, if you have anything but absolute love for that individual. Now, again, like I said, there may be some things that bother you about them, but can you still love them through it? Same thing with marriages. Stop holding your spouses accountable to perfection. We all have our faults. Can you still love them through it? And so if you can, then you can lead them at a high level. If you can't love them through their faults, let them go. It's the right thing. Don't be selfish, even if they're your top producer on your team. If you don't love them at a high level, you're being greedy. It's just the way it is. Okay? Because leadership is about loving and caring for people enough so that you can be their vehicle to success. Okay? So 3 matches, keep those in mind. Hopefully this information can help you guys take your evaluations of people within the business world, both in the hiring processes as well as in your day-to-day operations of your organization. I believe if you can match people to those 3 matches at a high level, you can become unstoppable. You don't need a big team. You don't need a big organization. Right? Some of these real estate teams today, 10, 12, 15 people, I would question whether or not they're 10, 12, 15 people, all 10, 12, 15 of them actually match those 3 matches. Or are we sacrificing areas to tolerate the fact that they can do a job? See, I'll take a team of 3, 4, 5 people that are absolute matches in those 3 areas versus the 10, 12, 15 people. And trust me when I say those 3, 4, 5 people will outperform the 10 to 15. Okay, so If you have any questions on this, please feel free to hit me up at chris@transforminglivescoaching.com. I'd love to hear your questions, your comments, or your ahas in the comments section. And if you have anything that you'd like to see a video on, please feel free to hit me up either in these comments, via email, or Facebook Messenger. I'd be glad to do a video to help you out directly. And before we go, I hope this brought value to not only your business, but your life. And remember one thing, you are a child of God. God loves you. So do I. Lead strong. Have a great rest of your day. Be blessed.